Good afternoon, I'm Alan Unell, and this series of videos is Healthcare Advocacy, where we address problems in the healthcare system and then take actions to try and make a better system for all of us. We have a lot of topics today, including predatory health insurance, but before we get to that, down below in the YouTube description box, you'll find a link to the Healthcare Advocacy newsletter, which is actually the text for today's video. It has all of the links and medical reports and links to scientific studies, as well as a lot of healthcare resources. Subscribe for free on Substack. Anyway, let's get started. First, let's talk about insurance parasites. Now, when a for-profit entity is in charge of your healthcare, they benefit, not you. This is an outrageous example that showed up this week. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield planned to implement new rules in 2025 to cap the amount of time in surgery for anesthesia that they would pay for. Anthem BCBS is one of the largest health insurers in the U.S., and they quietly announced the new reimbursement policy last month, that's November of 2024, for Connecticut, New York, and Missouri beginning in February of 2025. The policy change triggered outrage from the American Society of Anesthesiologists, of course. Initially, the policy update pretty much went unnoticed, but that changed after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot dead in New York City. He was murdered there. The killing sparked a wave of online vitriol about the U.S. healthcare system, and Anthem BCBS's decision roared into the conversation. An Anthem BCBS spokesperson claims the company was misunderstood. Yeah, that's gaslighting at best. Good news, they've canceled their plans to limit payments for anesthesia. You can find a link to the story. This came out of NBC News. I want to talk about Kash Patel, Trump's pick for FBI director. He promoted a supplement company called Warrior Essentials. He promoted them on social media, I think on Trump's social media platform. That company claims that they have a product to help people detox from COVID vaccines. He promoted it on, as I said, Trump's social media platform. Of course, Patel was under contract to that social media platform at the time. Now, listen, COVID vaccines have overwhelmingly been shown to be safe and effective. No supplement has been found to alleviate side effects. Warrior Essentials sells what it calls a spike protein detox protocol, a set of up to 3 supplements that it claims, without evidence, will undo the damage from the spike protein, a component of the coronavirus. The mRNA vaccines, modified RNA vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna, prompt the body to actually produce and fight an altered version of the protein, and that's what trains the immune system. Warrior Essentials is one of many companies that trade on unfounded theories about the false dangers of vaccines. Did I say false? Which have proliferated in the alt-right, you can read that as fascist, social media landscape since the pandemic. Ideas that are not backed by science or evidence. There is no evidence that Warrior Essential supplements are effective at reducing vaccine side effects, which are mostly mild or moderate and tend to resolve quickly. No supplements have been found to do that. Again, there's a link to the NBC News story on this. So this is just BS. It's just bullshit, more disinformation in the public sphere. Let's take an action and remind our senators that Patel is an anti-vaxxer. Anti-vaxxers are unable to follow evidence to a logical conclusion. Now, if you can't do that, you shouldn't be in charge of an agency like the FBI, who relies on evidence to do their job. There's another possibility. That's that maybe he spread anti-vaccine information to make money. Well, that's lying in public for money, and that should disqualify him as well. You can call or email your senators and let them know that Patel is an anti-vaxxer and either unable to follow evidence to a logical conclusion or he's willing to take money to lie in public, as evidenced by his support of Warrior Essentials anti-vaccine products. Either way, unfit to head up the FBI, an agency that relies on evidence to accomplish their mission. All you have to do is, on your cell phone, send a text message to 50409. The message you send is sign, SIGN, space, PTUDEO, to ResistBot. Sign, PTUDEO. I'll read you the message. I'm your constituent, and I just learned that Trump's pick to lead the FBI promoted Warrior Essentials anti-COVID vaccine supplements. There is no evidence that they work, and Patel promoting it online shows that he's an anti-vaxxer. Anti-vaxxers are not following evidence. They jump to conclusions. Let me remind you, the FBI must follow evidence to do their job. It is possible that he did this just for money. If that's the case, spreading disinformation and lies for money should also disqualify him from leading an evidence-based organization like the FBI. Either way, do not confirm him to lead the FBI. One more thing, do not recess and allow Trump to make acting appointments without your approval. Thank you. And at the end of the email, I actually include the NBC News story so the legislative analysts in your senator's office can go and read it. I want to talk briefly about abortion news in the state of Washington. My wife and I live in Vancouver, Washington, and Washington enshrines in law the right to choose and the right to have contraception. In fact, Washington insurance law demands that in order to be licensed to sell health insurance in the state, you must cover the cost of an abortion if your health insurance covers maternity services. It sounds fair, right? Well, bad news. There is a very large insurance company and healthcare provider, they do both, Providence Insurance, and they take exception. They claim to be morally opposed to providing payment for an abortion, so they refuse. They just decline to follow the law. Now, the state has issued a ruling saying that they'll cover the cost of an abortion for anybody who wants one who has a Providence policy. So they think that that covers the issue, but it really doesn't. And it's not the answer. The answer is that we don't make laws to apply to some people and not others. The law is supposed to apply even-handedly and be blind. Well, that ain't the case here. Now, if you live in Washington State, I would like you to please contact your elected representatives and let them know that Providence should cover the cost, or they should lose their license to sell insurance in Washington. Plenty of other companies do business in the state, and they would be delighted to pick up the slack. You know, we could just send them packing if it's too much trouble for them to follow the law. So here's the action. You can reach your elected representatives. I have a link there. You can get their phone number and email, or use ResistBot and just send a text message to 50409. The message is sign, SIGN, PJWIMF. Sign PJWIMF to 50409. I'll read you the email. Washington State Reproductive Parity Act requires all state-regulated health plans that cover maternity services to cover abortion services, including medical abortion, the pharmaceuticals used to terminate a pregnancy. If an employer objects to providing these services to their employees, the insurer must provide the services at no cost to the employees. How is it that Providence can flout the law and not cover abortion? I know that we, the people, pick up the cost when Providence won't, so that women are not left in the lurch. Well, that's good to help your neighbor when they need help. But it would be better to not allow Providence to thumb their nose at the law. The law is supposed to apply to all of us, not to some of us. I want you to do whatever you can to get them to be legally licensed insurers in our state, following all the laws. And if they can't, perhaps they don't need to do business in our state. Thank you. I have one more action for you, and this one is really important. I'm just going to read you the ResistBot. It is 50409. Again, send a text message hold on, I'm slipping here. Here it is. Sign PYFIAA. Sign PYFIAA to 50409. And what you're going to do is you're going to ask your member of Congress and your senators to push President Biden to publish the Equal Rights Amendment. All the states have passed it. The National Archives is holding on to it. All he has to do is say, publish it. I'm sure there'll be a court fight afterwards, but you know what? Get your act in gear. So please do that. Publish the Equal Rights Amendment. That's what I've got for you. A lot of actions today, but they're really important. Please take them. Again, down below, you can like, share, and subscribe. Send me comments. I will try to reply to everyone. You can also send me emails at healthcareadvocacy1@gmail.com. Have a good evening.